Hey, buddy.
I know. Good morning. Good morning.
Before the incident, Killian was a typical toddler with some medical needs.
He liked to run around. He liked to listen to music. Pretty much a normal little boy with a little bit of breathing problems.
When Killian was born, his diagnosis was a tracheoesophageal fistula. His trachea had grown fused together with the bottom half of his esophagus, and the trachea is your airway.
From his birth injury, doctors were confident that around 2 years old, his trachea would be as firm as it would ever be, as in a normal human, and that the trach could come out.
He was starting to be able to, with the help of his early intervention, use sign language. So he was actually able to really start to express himself before the accident happened.
The day of the incident, I was the one home. Danielle was at work.
I saw him sleeping in the crib, and everybody at work liked to spy on him with me, so we turned on the camera, and he was sleeping.
I got him into the crib. The nurse was here, so I was downstairs on my computer eating lunch. I just remember the nurse just kind of yelling, "Dad, Dad, get up here."
So later on, while I was on my lunch break, I looked and I saw Tom in the crib with him, so I text him, and he says to me, "Come home, he's blue."
When I ran up here, I saw Killian just kind of walking around, disoriented. I just remember putting him on the floor. The nurse and I just started to try to do CPR, so she called 911.
I remember grabbing my car keys and running towards the door, and I stopped in the middle of the sales floor at work, and I changed the trach.
Eventually, the paramedics got here. I guess they finally discovered that his trach was out. They shot him up with adrenaline, because I guess apparently he was dead for some time. And then they put him in a stretcher, and we just went to the hospital.
I remember screaming and cursing at him, saying he's not supposed to go there. This is not his care plan. This is not what we do. And that's when I think it hit me that something was way worse than I guess I anticipated. When I got there, they were like, cardiac arrest, and I'm like, what? But a few days later, it kind of set in how significant what had gone on was.
For me, I guess, Danielle, I believe you called me and said you hate this doctor because the doctor walked into the room and said there are some things worse than death. Your son probably should have died instead of living life like this.
You feel that? Is it calm? I'm gonna sit.
I feel like he was robbed of everything. His life was pretty much destroyed, and some people say, well, you have your son and you still have your family, but to me, yes, he is my son and I will love Killian no matter what, but he's not the same boy and we can't do the same things. And it's pretty much, he was pretty much taken away from us, I think. That's how I feel. We don't have an answer to why the events were turned off. We can only guess that he was struggling before she called me and she just kept silencing it.
I deduced that it was turned off completely before she even called 911. There's no reasonable explanation in my mind for all the training and things that we know why that would be, why that would have taken place. Yeah, why? I don't know. Good question.
In a case like this where the injuries are to a young child, they are severe, they are permanent, and the child needs 24-hour care. And we have to be supportive of the parents in a case like this emotionally when they need us. And whenever the parents, Danielle and Tom, needed to be emotional, we told them that it was certainly understandable, certainly to be expected and anticipated, and that anything we could do to help them, we would.
I think the biggest concern was just getting enough money for care for a good outcome for Killian.
We're pretty sure that Killian's going to live with us for forever, as long as we're around. But we were more concerned about when we pass on. So I think just getting as much money as we possibly could to make sure Killian would be taken care of well for the rest of his life.
When you represent a child like Killian, who's going to need lifelong care, it's important to help the family ensure that there will be sufficient money for Killian and his care. So what we did in this case is we did what is called a structured settlement. And then we also helped Tom and Danielle find a financial advisor to help them invest the excess money to make sure that whatever money they had for Killian would grow at a reasonable rate.
Just always felt that he felt for our situation. He always seemed to understand and have, real empathy for and compassion for our situation.
I think Michael put together a great case, like she said. He did the best with what evidence that we came up with, or they came up with. He was very patient and very understanding man, and I think he did a hell of a job.
Anytime we deal with a tragedy, it makes you grateful for what you have, appreciative of what you have. And watching parents like Danielle and Tom, who really are the gold standard of parents, have fought every second of every minute of every hour of every day since this accident for their son, to make sure he continues to try to get a little bit better every day, even if that's really, really small increments. Makes you want to be a better person, wants you to continue to fight for those who need help and don't have a voice. And that's what we're going to continue to do here at the Epstein Law Firm.